Welcome to the Floor of the Product Show here at the 2024 SMACNA Convention in Palm Desert, California. And I have the pleasure of being joined by one of our very talented chapter executives, Jonathan Kowalski. Jonathan, how you doing today?
Good, Seth. Thanks for having me over here.
Good. So chapter executives are so vital to what SMACNA does. And tell us kind of what you're kind of involved in.
It's a Swiss Army knife job, right? I mean, one day you're planning a party, the other day you're negotiating a labor contract, the day after that you're working on budgets and getting associate members together for a continuing education event. It's really doing everything you can for your chapter members so that they have a good experience, a positive experience, growth experience, make more money, right? And then give that back, hire people, and keep that cycle going.
And what are some of the resources available for chapter executives to kind of broaden their toolbox? Because one of the biggest things SMACNA is trying to do is provide the resources you need to succeed.
Toolbox, great term, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what everyone needs, and it's what we need. It's just a different toolbox. So one of the best things about SMACNA is they're very personal, right? It's a community where you get to know the people in charge of each of the areas of those things I just mentioned that you're going to go to for help. Who do I talk to if I want to bring a speaker into town? Who do I talk to if I've got a labor issue? You get those direct relationships, pick up the phone, send off an email, or sometimes even more effective, you have a community of people like me, a community of chapter execs that not only get together in person several times a year, but we have a email listserv. You can put anything out there. The amount of diverse, educated, creative opinions and feedback you get is spectacular. So it's really comprehensive from the national office and your peer group.
And I think you talked about relationships, and that's key. What's your labor management dynamic like right now?
So right now it's really good. We negotiated a contract a year and a half ago. So we're in year 1.5 of a 3-year contract. It really, everything I've learned about this job, and I've been doing it for about 5.5 years, is if work is good, the labor relationship is usually pretty good. In our part of the country, it's been really good for the last several years. So we still will have frustration and butt heads a little bit about smaller issues, but the more time you spend together, whether you want to or not, that helps with those frustrating moments, but it's all in all really good.
We always have to say the 90-10, 90% good, 10% not great. Let's focus on the 90. Let's not the 10 keep going. It sounds like you're doing pretty good with that.
That's exactly it, because you know the 10's coming.
Everybody does.
Right? So if you haven't done the 90, that 10 becomes more than 10, right? And all of a sudden you're on 10, 50, 100. So it's good to get together when things aren't going well as much as it is to get together when things are.
So let's say let's flash back about 5 years, becoming a young chapter executive.
Right.
What would the you of now say to the you of then? What kind of advice would you give yourself?
So it's interesting. I came out of a very different industry. I've never been in this world before. I was in the university world.
Oh, wow.
And when I interviewed for this job, people said, you'd be great at it. Or I talked to a colleague who knew this world very well. He says, oh, you should go for it. You'd be great. Interviewed, got there. No one talked about labor relations throughout the entire interview process. They talked about continuing ed, eventing, membership engagement, communications, all those things that I'd been doing before. So I would say be more willing to reach out and ask questions earlier. Right? We had a seminar yesterday about imposter syndrome, right? And that's the feeling that I don't belong or I'm not good enough or how did I get here? The key to overcoming that I learned over 5 years was ask a lot of questions, be a learner, be humble, trust the people that hired you. But the earlier you do that in the process, the more success you'll have. Because otherwise you're just kind of sitting trying to figure it out on your own, and you can't do that.
And that kind of building those relationships and kind of building that experience and knowing when to ask the help is really key.
And trust, right? Not only trust in your labor people, trust that your board won't think less of you when you ask those questions because they hired you. Trust your community and your peer execs for advice and feedback, that they won't think you don't know what you're doing, because you don't. But guess what? At a time, they didn't either, and they're happy to help out.
Well, Jonathan, we're glad to have you as part of the family. It's been a good 5 years.
It has.
And thanks for joining us, and thanks for all your hard work on behalf of SMACNA.
Appreciate it. It's a great organization. Thanks, Seth.
That's like what people use. Thank you.
Cheers.